Welcome back. Today is the anniversary of the global campaign to end statelessness. And the campaign in South Africa is focusing on raising awareness on the issue. It is estimated that 10 million people around the world have no nationality. Now, joining me in studio is Associate Protection Officer at the United Nations Human Rights Council, Bianca Robertson. And in Cape Town, we're joined by a stateless individual known only as Michelle. So, good evening.
Good evening.
Now, first, let's take a look at this video.
Imagine being born invisible. You are alive, but can't prove you exist. You want to learn, but no school will take you. You want to be useful, but aren't allowed to work. When you're sick, the doctor ignores you. When you fall in love, they won't marry you. You don't have children. For fear, they'll be invisible too. You are sure you're human, but have no human rights. And when you die, there is no proof you ever existed. Every 10 minutes, a person like this is born.
Very powerful. So, Bianca, let's start with you. What is a stateless person?
So statelessness is not a new phenomenon. It is an old concept, as old as nationality. So according to the UN Convention on Statelessness, it is someone who is not recognized as a national by any state under the operation of its law.
Okay, now there are 10 million stateless people in the world.
That's right.
Can you break it down in terms of regions of the world? You know, what is the geographical spread?
Yes, so the geographical spread is worldwide, and it affects every country in the world, including South Africa.
All right. And statistically, do you have statistics?
For South Africa, we don't have official statistics, but we do know that according to UNICEF, it has been reported that there is a recognition rate at birth of 89% of children. So that means that the birth registration rate has been lower than before, and of course that means that 11% of children in South Africa are not registered at birth. And that would mean that when they acquire adulthood at the age of 18, they would not access an identity document. And because of that, we would not know who their parents are, and that would mean that they would become stateless.
Okay.
Yes.
How serious is the problem for the country?
I think that awareness is needed on the issue. It is a challenge in the country, but first of all, as UNHCR, as the refugee agency, we wish to commend the Republic of South Africa for the enabling legislation, which does present good national laws and nationality laws. We do recognize that there is some challenges when it comes to the registration of some children. And of course, as UNHCR, as the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, we stand ready to work with the government of South Africa and to find solutions so that no child falls in the gap.
We'll come back to you in a moment.
Yes.
Let's talk to Michelle. Michelle, you've asked us not to identify you fully. Why is that?
Yes. Well, I always live in fear of either being deported, which is leaving my home country, because this is how I view South Africa. It's my home. And I've been living here for over 23 years, which is my age right now. And the fact that if I reveal my identity, there might be people coming after me. So that's my biggest issue. Living in fear, always living in fear that someone might find out.
And now, how did you become stateless?
So in 2015, while I was still at Stellenbosch University, my asylum papers, it literally just expired. And since I was Angolan, they told me that I have to go to the Angolan consulate and sort my papers out. So when I went to the Angolan consulate, they told me that I can only get nationality from the country that I was born in, which is South Africa. So a couple of times I've been to the South Africa legislation and tried to tell them that I am South African. I've showed them my birth certificate, I've showed them all of my schooling years from primary school to matric to going to Stellenbosch University, and yet they do not believe me.
Okay, so let's come back to Bianca now.
Yes.
The UNHCR, you know, is an institution for refugees.
Yes.
What is the distinction between a refugee and a stateless person?
So the distinction is a refugee is someone who has fled persecution and they have left their country of origin and they have sought asylum in another country. Whereas a stateless person, in the majority of the cases, we could say about 9 out of 10 cases, a stateless person is in their country of origin and they found themselves to be stateless because they have not been recognized by the government or by the state.
Okay,
under the operation.
Like Michelle.
Yes,
like
under
Michelle
the operation of its law, correct.
Okay, so now what are you doing for people like Michelle?
So we are supporting governments throughout the world. And we are actually celebrating the I Belong campaign today. So this is a global campaign which is geared at the eradication of statelessness by the year 2024. And this campaign is to raise awareness throughout the world. And it also implements a global action plan. So we call on governments throughout the world and the public to support the campaign.
Sure. So how would you legalize Michelle? She can't go back to her country and she's stateless here. What happens to her?
Yes, we need to find a solution because that's the work of UNHCR when it comes to statelessness. We look at solutions and we work with governments to find a solution. So as the UNHCR, we would want to work with the government of South Africa to find a solution for her particular problem that she is experiencing. And in her case, it would be a legal solution.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, Michelle, are you currently working in South Africa?
Yes.
All right.
I work as a waitress, but I would say that my previous experience, there is no better way to describe people that are stateless or people that are refugees and how employees will treat them. They have paid me less, they have made me work countless and countless of hours, and not with my current job, I'm talking about previous jobs where they found out that I am undocumented. They will grind you tooth and nail just for your extra strength to come out because you are a foreigner, because you are a refugee and you do not have rights in this country. So the only way I can actually form my work experience in South Africa, because I was born here, and the way that I've seen all of my friends evolve and actually go into the workplace, I would say that it's completely different. I would say South Africans have it 10 times better than undocumented people have it here in South Africa.
So you've experienced exploitation, you've experienced some kind of discrimination, and it has. And are there other people that you have connected with that are similar to you?
There are dozens. I would say there are thousands of people just like me. And the worst part is every person's experience is different. My experience, I would say, has been so complex that at many times I've thought about ending my life because of all the issues that surround the fact that I am stateless. Because of feeling like I do not belong, because of feeling like I am not an individual, I am not a person. People do not appreciate you if you don't have an ID number, and it's just the truth. They see you as an animal, they see you as non-existent, and you just think to yourself, am I worth it? Why am I fighting so hard? Why am I working so hard? For what? When no one is going to appreciate you at the end of the day. So there are a couple of people that I do know that are going through the same struggle as I am. And the fact that I am so young to be going through all these experiences, it changes your life, I must say. It teaches you things. It teaches you strength in ways that you never could possibly imagine. And I cannot explain it more. All I can say is being stateless is being caged up and having a view of everybody living their lives, of everybody evolving, of everybody reaching their dreams. And you have so many dreams, yet you cannot do anything. You cannot open a bank account. You cannot go to school. You cannot work a proper job, even though you're educated. So that is what I feel is incorrect. Because at the end of the day, most of the people that I do know were born in South Africa. And I know that we are supposed to get nationality. So my question is, why can we not be accepted as South Africans? Why am I not viewed as a South African when all of my aspects, all of me is South African? I cannot speak my home language. I can only speak English and Afrikaans. So my question is, what makes me so different that I cannot be accepted in South Africa or in any country? Why?
Thank you so much, Michelle. Those are powerful questions, very powerful questions indeed. All right, thank you very much indeed, Bianca Robertson and Michelle, for joining us. We're going to have to move on right now. Thank you.